guess I have tried over the last 10 years to sort of leverage the awesomeness of this place, but also the uniqueness of what we are as a working museum to work with other organizations who are nonprofits who have or need boats but don't have the facilities or the wherewithal to build them or work on them, and that's what we do really well. So we've done projects for Mystic Seaport, for Schooner Adventure, for Plymouth Patuxent Museums, and you viewers will get to watch a 38-foot Bantry Bay Gig come together over the course of the next year. And this is a really big project for us. It's essentially going to stretch from one end of the shop to the other. The finished boat probably weighs about 3,000 pounds, I would imagine. But a super cool thing. It's a replica of a French gig that was captured off the coast of Ireland in Bantry Bay. And the lines were taken from it. And the Atlantic Challenge, in this case Atlantic Challenge USA, but it's a worldwide organization that uses these boats in a worldwide competition once a year, once every other year. I think they all come together, many nations, and compete against each other. I know there's a Canadian boat. They're about to start building a boat in Japan. There are a number of them in France and England, I believe, and around Europe. I know there's a Canadian boat, some other far-off places, but essentially within that competition, all of these nationalities come together. They're all practicing, training in these boats, and they come together in some location and compete. Last year it was in Belfast, Maine, and I don't know when the next one is, but the organization, Atlantic Challenge, has 3 of these boats, and their oldest is getting pretty old and tired, and it's time for a new one. So we are very excited to partner with them and to build this really cool, really interesting boat here. And I think that watching this come together, certainly for you viewers who can't be here in person, should be interesting. Should be a lot of lessons learned, not only for you, but also for us, since this is a little out of the norm for what we do. However, we have certainly built boats just like this. We built a whale boat for Mystic Seaport, which was 10 feet shorter than this. We built a pilot gig for the Gloucester Gig Rowers, which was only 6 feet shorter than this. So we do have experience with this kind of a thing, but this will certainly be our biggest build to date. And I don't want to say it erroneously without having done my research, but very likely the largest build ever done here in this boat shop, which is a pretty exciting thing to be able to say, especially now in 2025 in our, let's do some math, 232nd year, which is pretty crazy. So I don't know what Simeon Lowell was doing in the yard. He may have done some bigger stuff, but certainly in recent memory, in recent centuries, this is going to be the biggest boat to come out of here. And I hope that there's enough room to drag it across the street to turn it right side up. But we'll see. That'll cause a traffic jam when that day comes. Fingers crossed. But we've already started to procure wood for this. I'm trying to find some cedar for planking, which will need to be of good quality. And this is going to be a pretty big spend for this organization. They are currently fundraising. They're about halfway to their goal for us to build this. But we've already started to procure materials. For one thing, need to lay wood in ahead of time so that it has time to season and dry. But also, we're trying to get some of the fasteners and such ahead of any tariffs that might make those prices jump. And so that is one of the challenging things these days, is you can't put an estimate or a quote together and expect it to be good in a month. Because the fluctuation in those prices nowadays is such a challenge. One of the cool things about these boats is that they have a pretty sizable dipping lug rig, which is not an easy an easy rig to manage. Dipping lug means whenever you tack, you have to bring the whole sail down, flip it around the mast, and send it back up again. That's why these are such a challenge for the groups that race them. So, you know, fairly sizable sail area here. This is probably all in metric. And then a very long boat with a lot of seats for a lot of rowers. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 on one side and 6 on the other. Which is kind of odd. It's very whaleboaty. And there's a lot of, because of the rake in these masts and the strain that's put on them. Are they unstayed? No, there's some stays, but there's a lot of extra material and construction around the mast steps to try to stiffen the boat up there. But it's all your ballast is people, not boat. And fairly straightforward lines plan. I would say these boats are a little bit easier to build because they're long and skinny. So the planks end up being not straight, but they end up being relatively straight. So when you're dealing with stock, you don't need all kinds of weird shapes to get the planks out of. But we'll end up, in the case of a 38-foot boat, the goal would be to have no butts. We can have ifs, ands, but no buts. It's going to be difficult, however, trying to maneuver a 38-foot plank. First of all, shape it, and then maneuver it onto the boat. And so we're going to have to redirect traffic here in the shop, I think, for the course of this build, because we're going to have to take these benches that are, I don't know, almost 30 feet, or not quite, probably 25 feet, and stick another couple feet onto them. It's going to be tough to do all the way down to the window there, and probably have to revamp this whole shop operation, or at least the floor plan temporarily. So that'll be fun. And someone has gone to great length to specify the hardware and all these sorts of things, so there'll be some custom bronze work to be done, but it's really nice to have such a good set of plans for something like this. That Irish seine boat, if you all remember, didn't come with such a great set of plans. It was pretty rudimentary, didn't have a table of offsets, any of that, so we had to do a lot of working backwards and making stuff up. This is all pretty well spelled out as to what's what, and even tells you scantlings for things and fasteners to be used and all of that. It's left to our discretion to some extent. I'm inclined on such a big long boat like this to put a hardwood oak or even potentially locust garboard on this to make it a little stiffer. The same maybe up toward the shear, do one up there and then do softwood in between. But that's really just to add some rigidity to this. And these oars are, what's the scale of this thing? Well, there you go. These oars are like 12 feet long almost. So there's a big lever arm to be yanking on the side of that boat. And if you don't have a lot of structure incorporated there, you can rip the boat apart. Same with these halyards, these stays for these raked masts. If you don't build a lot of structure into that part of the boat, then this boat won't last too long. It'll start to work. And as soon as they start to work, your fasteners start to loosen up, and everything starts to move, and then it leaks, and it becomes unserviceable. So I just find it really interesting. Someone's taken a lot of time in Midland, Ontario, to work this out, to fair it and do all this. So the shape has been faired where necessary, but not more than 1/2 inch at any one point. Pretty cool. So I don't know how many of these there are in the world. I think, you know, maybe close to 30 or 40 of them. But we're very honored to be working with Atlantic Challenge and to be awarded this project. It's going to mean a lot for us as a organization, and it's just an interesting thing to do. You know, we've built thousands of boats like this, and we love those, and we'll continue to do those for as long as the shop is here. But for someone like myself, who's been building those for 15 years, I can build that boat in my sleep. But this one I need to actually think about, and I'm excited to have a project that is, I'm confident in my ability to do it, and our ability here to do it, but I'm also excited to have something that I have to think about, that, you know, I'm sitting there awake in bed before I go to sleep, running through details of this and that, and how do I do this, and how do I do that, and the problem solving of it all. And so, just can't wait to get started.